I was American born, and I'll die in America.
Welcome to our group. Welcome to Defender 7.
If Defender 7 has a touchdown, this ought to show it right here.
Do you or someone you know suffer from depression? If so, please contact the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another Defender 7 Monday night broadcast with your hosts, Colonel Kimberly PURVIS and Lieutenant General Christopher Weathers, and I'm your co-host and General of the Defender 7, Bobby Ormsby. Welcome, everybody. Before we get on with tonight's show, I have to read our disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on Defender 7 radio show and Facebook page are those of the callers and or authors and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the Defenders 7. Now, for those of you just tuning in to us, welcome. We can be reached on our web page by typing in all lowercase letters www.defenders, Roman numeral V as in Victor, with 2 small i's.com. Now on our website you'll find our store and a donate button. 100% of all sales and donations that we receive go back to our communities throughout all 50 states. During natural disasters or any shit hits the fan situation. So please, by all means, purchase something or hit that donate button. Every dollar counts. That's how we're able to distribute funds and how we can run the Defender 7. We are a nonprofit. We can also be reached on MeWe by clicking on organizations and scrolling down to Defenders 7 Humanitarian American Patriot Group, or on our national Facebook page by typing in the search box all capital letters Defenders 7. Now, before you click on that join button, just know we expect all of our members and future members to participate throughout all we do here in the Defender 7. That's training, survival skills, anything you can bring to the table. Everybody has something to contribute. Now, if you get in and you feel it's not for you, you can always leave with no hard feelings. Now, for tonight's show and all the shows we do here on Blog Talk, number to call to participate, area code 914-205-5773. Again, number to call to participate, area code 914-205-5773. For all those of you that are listening, add your family, add your friends to the group. We're currently 784 members strong and counting. And just so you know, this radio station belongs to the Defender 7. So anybody have ideas for show topics and want to share, please reach out to myself, Colonel Kimberly PURVIS, Lieutenant General Christopher Weathers, or Colonel John McCullen. Let us know. We're always looking for new topics. And I will now be bringing in your host, our Colonel, Kimberly PURVIS. Evening, Kimmy.
Good evening. How's you?
I's good. You?
Good. Oh, I'm pretty good. Only one earthquake today. Only one. Not bad. My oldest told me that Kansas is turning into California with the earthquake.
Kimmy. Jesus Christ.
I just showed my wife the picture of your new toy.
What? Oh. It's awesomeness. I think the bag costs just as much as the boomstick. That's why I call it a boomstick. That's a nice bag.
Yeah, it is.
Insulated, nice foam on the inside, and not bad.
Good.
I'm putting a laser scope on it. Pat got it. I said, Jesus, these scopes are getting smaller and smaller. It's half the size of a cell phone.
Oh,
but,
I know.
Jesus, you could see far with it. I mean, not like the military grade now. Don't get me wrong.
They're pretty darn close, Kim. They're pretty darn close.
Are they really?
Yeah, because a lot of the manufacturers manufacture them specifically for the military.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know all these movies. You see the sniper rifles with these big ass, high-tech redneck scopes on them. Like you can see to the moon. That's
old school.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I wanted to get one for my my 270, but it doesn't have rails. So it takes the ones that you have to screw on.
Right.
I mean, it has a place for it, but the only one they had was one for rails. I'm like, nah, I don't. I'll just wait. So,
yeah.
Is anybody else on, or is it just me and you?
Nah, just you and I right now.
Okay. So I sent you the 4 different sites, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The first one, I did not know this, and I was kind of annoyed with the number 1 event. It says the 10 most historic events that shaped Americans' lifetimes, but then I started reading it, and it states, since the survey was conducted over a year ago, which was before, it says it does not put in recent events like Trump's inauguration, the mass shooting they had in Vegas, and the Me Too movement. So those would go. In all honesty, I believe Trump he's made the most, the biggest impact on America. So we could start with number 10. Where's it at? Yeah, this was taken in 2016. So, and they made this in 2017. Dog, you knocked my stuff over. I'm going to eat you. I swear my dog's acting like a dumbass. Oh, my God. Okay, so the response, they asked 2,000 people what was the most impactful event of American history. And they asked different ages, different races, different political views, education levels, and income levels. And this is how they came back. And we have two of them. And then there's a 25 moments that changed America itself. So it's kind of like three different, they kind of coincide, and then there's another one. It's the 10 lesser known events. They're like, oh shit, I forgot about that. So they kind of fit in there somewhere. Let's see. So number 10, the Gulf War came in as one of the most impactful events.
Wait a minute. Wait. Where are you reading this one from?
The top 10 historic events. They shaped America's lifetime.
Oh, okay. Got it.
I think
no, because I was on
those two first.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
That's okay. Yeah, we'll do that one after, and then we'll do the 25. We should have plenty of time.
Oh yeah.
Seeing as slackers don't want to show up, but that's okay. Roughly 10% of the survey respondents placed the Gulf War, which occurred during the George H.W. Bush's administration, as the top 10 events that shaped their lifetime. The war was of particular importance to Gen X respondents, who were the only generational group to list the event. Yeah, because when that started, that was, hell, I was in my 20s. And I'm not sure, I think I only had 2 of my kids. And I was worried, honestly, that they'd bring the draft back. You know, and come to find out, I joined the military anyway, like 8 years later.
Right.
So the survey showed that 12% of men placed the war in their list, and women did 8%. Okay, so this is what the tie was. The Orlando shooting also came in at number 10. And I believe that's the nightclub.
Yeah.
I have family in Orlando, and they were not at the nightclub, but they were somewhere adjacent to that nightclub. And that's the mass shooting that killed 49 people and wounded more than 50 others on June 12, 2016. 10% of the survey respondents put that on there. But it was ranked higher by Hispanics and millennials. Probably because they were the most of them there. You know.
Right.
Boomers and Gen X, they're like, whatever. So the Pew Research, of all things, the Pew, like in Pew Pew, Jesus.
Pew Pew, La Pew.
The Pew Pew, yeah. It took place at Orlando's Pulse nightclub on Latin night. And I guess what happened, 90% of the people that were killed were Hispanics.
Yeah.
And so I guess that's what they were targeting, is Hispanics. And see, hold on a second. Most people, I mean, they blame guns for everything. I don't care what it is. Hold on a second. I gotta go outside and my dog.
We do have Captain Slacker from Wisconsin on.
Wisconsin.
That's Miss Slacker to you guys.
I'm gonna
just
I
flat
might have
out
to
Slacker.
mute you guys real quick. I gotta go outside and get my retards.
That's no way to talk about Pat.
Huh?
That's no way to talk about Pat.
I know, but no, Pat's training someone in soccer. So he's out there. He's at the
Oh,
Y.
look out.
Yeah.
Some girl at me, right? And then she looks towards the door. She shuts up.
Yeah, she's looking for me, my little retard. I swear to God, my dogs are stupid. They know I have a leash, and she chewed it in half. And so it now looks like a belt. I don't even have to touch my dogs. All I have to do is bring it out and hold it. And they're like children. I swear to God, they're like children. Oh, shit, Mom's got the belt. And they stop.
Yep.
See? And that's all I got to do. I don't even have to do anything anymore. I used to have to take my son, the leash, and put it on my son's dog's neck because he doesn't have a collar on right now. And just pull them into the house. But now he does this little doggy dash. He's like, yeah, you're not going to catch me. And he'll dash to the other side of the yard. So now I just learned to stand up. I swear to God, I'll make a video of him doing it one day. Okay, sorry about that, guys.
That's all right.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, it's like, it's the quickest thing they're going to blame is the gun. Oh, my God, well, the guns kill people. Well, guess what? Cars kill people, too. Alcohol kills people. Drugs. Oh, and better yet, if someone's drinking and doing drugs and they get in the car, that's a hat trick. I mean,
yep.
So it's stupid. Because
yeah,
if
we
there
were
was
just talking about. I was just talking about that with my nephew today. You know, with the way they blame the guns. Go ahead and take all the guns. What, you think people aren't going to stab each other or beat each other up with baseball bats?
There's bats, hammers, knives, katanas. I don't care what you. I mean, that's what I'm saying. If somebody went on a stabbing rampage, they'd be like, "Oh, ban all steak knives."
Yep.
I mean, during the Boston bombing, and you know what? They did not put the Boston bombing on here. Not one person put the Boston bombing on here. And that just happened, what? Not even 10 years ago. Not even 10 years ago. And nobody put that down. And they made the biggest shit fit over pressure cookers. They tried to ban pressure cookers. I'm like, seriously? Because one jackass in the history of all terroristic acts uses a pressure cooker, and they want to ban them.
Right.
You know,
you can use a huge metal pot. Come on now.
Now, here's the thing. Did you know, this is a 100% scientific fact, that all drownings are from water? So why don't we ban water while we're at it? I swear to God, that is the mentality of the left. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. There may be some good leftists out there. I don't know. Prove me wrong, guys. If you're a lefty or a Dem, call us and let us know where you stand on gun control or ignorance control, whatever. or
what has Obama / Joe Biden done for you so far?
Yeah, Joe Obama. Okay, so number 9 was gay marriage. It is what it is. The Supreme Court decision to legalize gay marriage appeared in the top 10 list of 11% of Americans, but it was the most significant to millennials. 19% of those millennials, whom included the event. Gender also factored into it. 14% of women placing gay marriage on their list and 8% of men. You know, you're going to notice a trend. Most of these ridiculous things are millennials.
Of course.
And when Gen Z comes into factor, they're going to be cancer culture. Well, now there's zillennials and zillennials. There's the zillennial with the X, which is half Gen X and half millennial. That's the first half. And the other zillennial is the Gen Z and the last half of millennial. It's them idiots that's ruining America. That's all I got to say. Because they need, the parents need to be slapped.
And even John, too.
Hey, watch it.
Number 8 was the fall of the Berlin Wall. The fall of the Berlin Wall. That was a very big, significant thing. It happened in 1989, and it marked the end of the Cold War. And 13% of the respondents put it on there. Most commonly, Gen Xers and baby boomers. See, so you won't have anybody else because, of course, it's in 89. And
right.
The first part of millennials were just born. Number 7, I guess it's been controversial because now I don't know if this really happened or not. The moon landing. Now they're saying the moon landing never happened. That it was just all cameras. Because how did the camera get to outside of the space shuttle and face the space shuttle with Buzz Aldrin, and Neil Armstrong stepping on the moon? And someone had to be out there. And not to mention, they said the boot print is different than what the astronaut boots look like. So, I don't know. That's another... I mean, if they did, they did. They didn't, oh well. But it happened in 1969. 17% of Americans put it down. Pretty much was the silent generation and boomers. And that's my parents. My dad was the silent generation, and my mom was a baby boomer. So 29% of the respondents put the moon landing. The Iraq-Afghanistan wars was number 6. Oh, dude. That's from... Oh, no, it's not. Okay. Never mind. The picture, I thought it was from Fort Campbell, but it's not. The rankings of the Iraq and Afghanistan wars also showed a generational disparity. Millennials and Gen Xers were more likely to include the wars on their list, but it barely ranked on baby boomers. Probably because boomers didn't go. Unless... now, Norman Schwarzkopf. You know what his last name was? Wasn't it Schwarzkopf or whatever?
Stormin' Norman.
I know he's... Yeah. Was he a boomer? Or was he... Because your higher ranking officers are going to be boomers. There wouldn't be any Gen Xers, really, that were that old. I mean, I joined when I was 37. So I joined really late, which kind of threw everything off in the military. They're like, why?
John joined when they had wooden ships.
Do what?
John joined when they had wooden ships.
You were on Noah's Ark.
No, that was Lorna.
Oh, so 17% of Americans.
You said at the Last Supper.
You served at the Last Supper.
All right.
You cheated on Noah with Moses.
Oh, hell no.
Number 5 is the Vietnam War. This was quite a significant thing. It was a defining event for baby boomers, and particularly who overwhelmingly listed as a top 10 moment. 20% of Americans in the survey, when I say that percentage. But my dad's a silent generation, but he still went to Vietnam. He was older. He was like 8 years older than my mom, and he came back in 70. Number 4, JFK's assassination. the assassination of Kennedy, which was named by 21% of those respondents. And it was another defining moment for baby boomers who listed the event significantly more often than respondents from older generations. And you know what's sad is a lot of these events, the kids in school now, they won't be taught any of this. This won't even be a priority of, what to refrain from happening again. They
no,
still
it's
believe
cancel
that,
culture. We can't teach history. It's racist.
Oh, I know. And kids still refuse to believe Helen Keller exists. You know why? Because she was deaf and blind. They said, how could she learn? She wasn't retarded. She was deaf and blind. She used sign language by her hand, and she learned Braille. I mean, she could hear tones. I mean, like vibrations. She could barely hear. But, I saw a video where these the Gen Z kids, they refuse to believe she's even a real person. They say that if you can't learn, then you're just retarded. Number 3 was the tech revolution. Advancements in technology are one of just a few other events that made most respondents' list, regardless of their generation, with 22% agreeing as one of the most significant events in their lifetime. Think about it. The first computers that you were able to buy, right, was the desktop, and it was massive. We had one. It had megabytes, not gigabytes. It was a small, and we paid a fortune for it. We paid almost
Commodore
$2,000.
VIC-20.
Yeah, I had a Hewlett-Packard, and my oldest at the time, she was 8, and she fried the motherboard on my computer. So she was learning how to use computers in school. Oh, she fried that bitch. Oh, I had to call the computer company, and they replaced the motherboard. And but we paid almost $2,000 for that, and that was back in the 90s. And now, think about it, computers are getting smaller and smaller.
Well, they had
But they got more storage.
cassettes before DVDs. They saved instead of discs, even.
Oh, yeah. Well, the floppy disk. Kids, hell, half the millennials don't even know what a floppy disk is. They don't even know.
Never mind the cassette.
Oh, I know. I mean, it's like nowadays you just go on YouTube or now we had LimeWire, BearShare, when technology first really boomed. But before,
Dial-up,
we
AOL dial-up.
Oh, my God, the AOL, that was horrible. It was like, and then it sounded like a fax machine. And anyone that called your house, you got bumped off. I mean, it was, kids today think they have it rough. It's like, no.
The old bulletin boards.
We had to call the radio station and wait for them to play your song, record it on the cassette tape, and it may be hours before they even played the damn song. I mean, kids, they have no idea. No idea. We didn't have cell phones, decent cell phones, till when?
I was in the service when the first bag phone came out in 91.
Yeah, and I had, that big one, the big flip phone. It just flips down, but there's nothing to it. I mean, we had to, that's just.
Oh, I had a bag phone in a leather case with a big antenna that flipped up.
Yeah, I remember those phones.
You had to have a calling plan, and you paid by the minute.
Yep, and that's why I hated the cell phones. So, I mean, it wasn't until 2000, whatever, early 2000s before I really even had a decent cell phone. Now, this is debatable. Number 2, like I said, this took place, and this survey was in 2016. But they have Barack Obama's inauguration. Now, 40% of people put this on their list. 60% of those people were black, and only 30% of white people. Now, that's probably because they're snowflakes and they're liberals. But I don't think that's a well-defining moment, because the biggest thing that he ever did, I mean, he tried, I guess, but he caused a racial divide. People started hating cops after he told them, you don't have to stop and give them your information. That's when all of the racism started with the statues. I mean, that's when it really kicked up, was because of him. But whatever. And everyone rates number 1 at September 11th. Let's see here. More than 3/4 of the respondents. Huh?
I was going to say, the sad thing about September 11th is every year more forgotten and a little bit smaller and a little bit dumbed down and watered down.
And now they got George Floyd.
These kids today have no clue about 9/11.
Oh, they weren't even born.
Exactly.
I was paying my phone bill when it happened, when the first building or the first plane ran into the one of the towers. And I was paying my phone bill, and I came home, and my kid's dad, they're like, "Oh, my God, Bin Laden's attacking the U.S." And I'm like, one, who the hell's Bin Laden? Because at that time, I was not into politics much at all. And so it's sad that these kids don't even have a clue. They don't. So let's. Oh, I didn't say. I thought I saved that one. Oh, I did. Okay. So here's another list. So there's more than one. So I guess they did 2 different surveys. And I'll tell you what else is not on here is the Challenger explosion is not on here. I'm surprised more of the boomers and Gen Xers did not put that down. But let's see where they start this one. Come on, let's get down. The founding of Jamestown. Okay. So most people attribute the Pilgrims as the first people to start a colony in the United States. It's not true. There were actually a number of colonies that were founded before the Pilgrims ever arrived to Plymouth Rock. And so the colony of Jamestown is important because it's considered the first permanent English settlement in the New World. And it is tied with such stories as the tale of Pocahontas, which is apparently not as nice as the Disney Pocahontas. And the colony of Jamestown was the first one to bring black people over and treat. Well, actually, these were Africans because they actually came from Africa. So they were indentured servants at the time. They were not slaves. And the language, custom, and government and beliefs of these founders are quite similar to those we have today. And the colony was chartered in 1606, a full 13 years before the Pilgrims ever came over. And it was named for King James I from England. John Smith was the governor of the colony in 1608, and he established a no-work, no-food policy. Wow. Which started a string of issues in the colony. So they had starvation, fires, and death of a lot of the settlers. So this is where the problem comes in, where where black people have or people of color have the issue is most Africans were kidnapped from Angola by their own people and brought to Jamestown, or sold, and then brought to Jamestown in 1619, and that's when slavery came in. But see, a lot of people don't want to acknowledge that. You know, they have a hard time. But here's the thing. I believe it was the Dutch, right, that also, or the Dutch is the ones that brought him here. I can't remember. But yeah, that's, I mean, some people will acknowledge the fact, but this generation will never know. Number 9, they put the American Revolution. Come on. So, if you look ahead about 170 years from the founding of Jamestown, you'll see the beginning of the American Revolution. And this is the point where the U.S. ceased simply being a colony of Britain. And I foresee that happening again. In all honesty, I think if things keep going the way they are, we're going to have another 1776. And with the amount of those that gave their life to get America's freedom, I think it's going to be a lot worse this go round. Or it may not. We have all new technology, so if it wasn't for the leadership of General George Washington and a great deal of help from the French, the Declaration of Independence probably wouldn't have meant a lot. All right. When they go down to number 8, the Louisiana Purchase. Though the land that we know of today as part of the United States was always there, it didn't always belong to the United States. Up until the early 1800s, the United States only consisted of the 13 original colonies, which were now states, as well as Vermont, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Ohio. In addition, there were a large tract of land known as the Indiana Territory, which covered some areas of modern-day Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin, and Michigan, and Minnesota. Okay, sorry I have to do that because Lorna's still on the phone?
I'm still here in Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Minnesota
And there was also a small
Wisconsin.
There was a small area of land known as the Mississippi Territory, and the rest of the land that we know of as the United States was owned by either Spain or France. So France owned the Louisiana Territory, which was approximately 828,800 square miles of land, and that covered more than 15 states. Damn. Which is Kansas, Iowa, Oklahoma, Missouri, to name a few. And so Thomas Jefferson, who was the president at the time, made a deal with France to buy the land. Wow. He spent, what did I say, only $15 million. Think of what it would be worth today. If we were to buy the same land, what do you think how would you do the exchange? I mean, what it would be worth today? From $15 million back then to now. Come on, you slackers. Bobby.
Free beer.
Free beer. Huh?
I don't have enough toes and fingers for that number.
No, honestly, I mean, would you think it'd be in the trillions or billions?
Yeah.
I mean, 15 million back then. That's a lot. It was in the 1800s. I don't know. So it said that Napoleon Bonaparte, who was the leader of France at the time, only agreed to the sale of the land to stick it to England. Huh. Oh, that's one way of doing it. Who was a huge rival of the French. Napoleon was counting on the U.S. conquering the British on the water, and this was his way of picking sides. Wow. Number 7 they have is the assassination of Abraham Lincoln. In 1865, the United States was reeling, stuck in a massive civil war between the North and the South. Long gone were the days of the Revolution when all citizens were united in a common goal. Lincoln was elected in 1860, and the Civil War began just a few months later. So much for his term. He was a wartime president and the only one to ever lead the country while war was occurring on American soil. The 4 years of the Civil War were some of the worst in history of the country of all time. But Lincoln was able to bring it all together, and the South eventually conceded to the North. Though the war was as good as over at this time, there were a number of people who were angry with the outcome, including John Wilkes Booth. So I guess that's the reason why he did it. I'm not going to go over every single thing here. Number 6 is World War II. If there's one event in the history of the world that affected each and every person in the country, and for much of the world for that matter, was the Second World War. This was a war that had nothing good to come out of it, short of the suicide of Adolf Hitler. And though the war did not occur on the continental United States, the U.S. was not forced to enter the war until the bombing of Pearl Harbor on December 7th, 1941. Once the U.S. entered the war, nothing would ever be the same again, for good or bad. Approximately 60 million people were killed worldwide. Damn, I didn't know it was that many. Almost 500,000 Americans were killed during the war. And at home in the United States, approximately 16 million troops were sent to fight, which affected almost each and every family in the country. Wow. I did not know all of that. Number 5, they have the Apollo 11 moon landing, which I'm not going to go over that one again. Number 4, everyone said the Vietnam War, which everybody knows that war. I don't know what war that veteran or soldiers got treated the worst. And I believe it would be the Vietnam War, right? You guys think? When they came back?
I would think so.
Because
I agree. Those that came back from the Vietnam War were treated the worst. Even, I think Korea was probably worse than, the world wars. But Vietnam, because you remember, Vietnam was the first war that the media was allowed to go into and report on to such, extensively. So,
yeah.
And you know how the media is, even back then, what they reported, they weren't really unbiased. And they condemned our troops for doing what they had no choice, what they had to do. Should we have been over there? No. I think our men should not have been sent over there. But that's hindsight, we all know it's 2020.
Well, here's the thing.
They were treated the worst.
Kennedy was against the Vietnam War. Kennedy, JFK, he was against the war. He didn't want to get U.S. involved in it.
I know.
And I believe part of the reason why he got assassinated. Part of the reason.
It's possible.
Because, there's a documentary, a couple of them, that talks about what happened, because they said that Lyndon B. Johnson was sworn in before they even pronounced him dead. And there's just a whole bunch of stuff with that conspiracy. But what basically it says that Vietnam was. Hold on a second. I just lost my place. Yeah. President Johnson pushed for the troops to move due to various motives, including oil. See, is every war over oil? Jeez.
For the most part.
Let's see. There was no great villain like there was in World War II. It was just basically the North and the South not wanting communism. I mean, that's all there is to it. The number 3, the dropping of the atomic bomb. the U.S. became the first and only nation in the world to use an atomic bomb during war. There was actually 2 bombs. One of the bombs was dropped in Hiroshima, and the other one was Nagasaki. It immediately wiped out more than 90% of the city and killed about 80,000 people. And tens of thousands more died in the weeks and months following the bomb because of the radiation. And then Nagasaki, that one, killed an additional 40,000 people within days. And right after that, that's when Japan surrendered. And the effects of that were twofold. First, the dropping of the atomic bomb ended World War II. And that conflict, the war lasted more than 6 years. And the other effect, however, was the start of the Cold War. So scholars believe that in addition to bringing the war to an end, the decision to drop the bomb was to show the Soviet Union that the U.S. meant business. Cross this line, you die. Pretty much. That's what started it. The Great Depression was number 2. That was in the stock market collapsed in 1929, and that affected much of the world for about 10 years. I didn't know it lasted that long. The collapse caused a huge economic downturn over the next couple of years, and by 1932, stock prices were only about 20% on average of what it had been in 1929. And it impacted every family or every business, especially the banking and financial industry. And by 1933, almost half of the banks in the U.S. had failed. And did people really jump out their windows? Like all the stockbrokers and stuff? And
yes, they did. Yes.
Okay, I didn't know. I mean, I've seen movies of that, and I didn't know if they really did that or not.
No, they did it. I took care of a couple who were there during the 20s, and it happened. Yes.
My grandmother kept. I saw the books that they got for when you could get like the pound of sugar, the pound of flour, your bread.
Yes,
your
I have my grandmothers and my mothers. Yes.
At the time, my grandparents only had the 2 oldest. Both my aunts, and my mother and my uncle. Well, they came around really late. There's like a 25-year difference between my mom and my aunt. So, and of course, everyone listed on this survey 9/11. And I'm not going to go into the details really of 9/11 because there's a lot of, I don't want to say conspiracy, but there's a lot of controversy about who really caused 9/11. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Bobby, do you want to do the 25? Or did I send you that one?
I don't think you did.
Gotta wake them up.
Sure. Okay, hold on. Oh, for crying out loud. They didn't even number these. Jeez Louise. 25 moments that changed America. On the 50th anniversary of the assassination of JFK, Time magazine proclaimed that his death was a moment that changed America. And I believe so. I believe it really did. There's little doubt that his death and its circumstances set loose the darker instincts of the American psyche. I really do. And looking back on the 20th century, Henry Luce dubbed the American century. It's clear that there were many such moments of change, instances big and small that cleared the way for something greater to come after. Many of those moments are easy to name. assassinations, invasions, elections. Huh. Gee, I wonder why. The next one was, I have no idea about this one. I've never heard of it. This happened March 25th, 1911. The Triangle Shirtwaist Factory caught on fire. That fire resulted in the loss of 150 women and girls, and that was the garment workers. And they had been attempting.
Mom told me about that. I said, "You're talking about that fire? Was it 1950 something?"
No, 1911.
Oh, that one. Okay. Yeah, somebody else told me about that one. Before the home health aide, and most of the people at that time that I was taking care of were born in the late 1800s, early 1900s. So I got to hear a lot of those stories.
Well, what happened was the fabric scraps, oil, and hot machines were crammed into rooms on the upper floors of the 10-story building, and it was like a towering inferno. And I think that's why they tried to get the union started or to unionize that, and the exits were blocked. They had, girls attempted to use the rusted fire escape or jump from windows into the fire department's dry rotted nets. Wow. So it was a failure of the U.S. government. So that's pretty bad.
Yes,
the
definitely.
The Great Migration of 1915.
1915.
In today's world, African Americans were viewed as urban people, but that's a very new phenomenon. The vast majority of the time that they've been on the continent in America, they've been primarily southern and rural. I can't even say that. That changed with the Great Migration, a mass relocation of 6 million African Americans from the Jim Crow South to the North and West, starting in 1915. So I guess after, slavery had ended, they're like, screw this, we're leaving. It was a leaderless revolution in response to oppression in the South, and was set in motion by the labor shortage during the North during World War I, which once opened the door, and a flood of people came. So those who migrated became the advanced guard of the civil rights movement. They shaped their culture from music to sports, and I didn't even know about that. And that's something that we should have been taught in school, but we weren't. And a lot of kids will not learn about that. They might learn about it, but they'll learn about it from the wrong way. The Prophet is published. I guess was in 1923. In the aftermath of World War I, the Lebanese-born, Boston-based poet and philosopher, Khalil Gibran wrote what would become one of the world's most translated works of philosophy. Oh, The Prophet. It's a book. And it's a collection of inspirational sermons delivered by a fictional prophet on love, marriage, work, reason, self-knowledge, and ethics. So that's pretty cool. The Prophet has been a salve for readers who tried, in good American fashion, to break from conformity. So I guess that's just a way of saying, I'm done. Okay, marched in Washington on August 8th, 1925. Let me ask you a question.
Uh-huh.
In all honesty, guys, I don't know who all's on. Is John still on? Or he gets booted?
I guess not.
Well, fine.
Nah, he left.
This is a big debate also with the KKK. Have you guys heard or seen anything about the KKK in current times, like right now?
They're not very active. I mean, a few years ago, I heard about them setting up marches, like what the Rainbow does. The LGBTH, they have not protests, but rally marches through a town or whatever. And what was happening is towns, they were like, don't protest, don't, tell them they can't do it. Instead, what you do is either close all your stores or put out signs saying, we're collecting money to donate to whatever organization that, like some of the black organizations or whatever that the KKK was going against. So what they did was they protested the marches by the KKK and the neo-Nazis simply by not reacting to them, by turning it around on them. Do you know what I mean? By either closing the store or saying, or in the shops, like when they would buy water or something, saying that half the money, made will be donated to whatever organizations the KKK and the neo-Nazis don't like.
Well, see, right now, you have the Boogaloo Boys, and they're the closest to the KKK.
Right.
And they're borderline Antifa-like. If they're confronted, they will confront you. Yeah. Well, no. Here's the thing: they love America. Don't get me wrong; they love America. But they're still racist. So it's kind of like, you lost me at racist. But from 1890 to 1940,
they're the ones they're the ones that they're accusing Trump's people of being.
No. That's
the Proud Boys.
What's the other group? Huh? The Proud Boys.
The Proud Boys.
Yeah, but here's the thing: the Proud Boys hate the Jews. So they lose that too. They love America, but you lose it because you're racist. So you got to, if you're going to say you're a patriot group, you can't be racist. I'm sorry, and that's just the way it is. But from 1890 to about 1940 was the worst race relations in America, and that's when Caucasian, I'm gonna say white Americans, whatever. They were so racist then. And it wasn't, and if you notice, especially from the 40s all the way down, you notice how they addressed black people. It went from Negroes to colored people to African American, and now it's people of color. And someone tried to tell me that people of color is everybody but white people.
What?
Yeah. This is what someone told me today or yesterday. That people of color, they said, you're racist because people of color means everybody except white. Well, let me tell you something. No. POC.
I heard that.
Huh? I know. See, that's what I said. And I heard this video from a gentleman who said that black people are not colored, and they're not. And it was the best analogy that I could think of. When white people get mad, what color do they turn? Red. They get flushed. They turn red. When we get cold, what color do we turn? Blue. From hypothermia. Okay, we turn blue.
Right.
When you go in the sun, you get tan. When you get bruised, you turn black and purple.
Tan. Right.
Yeah.
They're very colorful.
When the bruise when the bruise goes away, you turn yellow. And if you jogger, you turn yellow. And he said, so theoretically, white people are colored and black people, well, they're black or brown. So I don't
one color.
Well, you know what? I would consider Indians from India, India, And over there, they're brown. They call them brown people, but I would consider them as a person of color too. But anywho, growing up, my dad used some of his colorful, highly racist metaphors. I guess you call it metaphor. I don't know, but there's some pretty ugly words. And
right.
But he was, and the weird thing is, he wasn't racist until you pissed him off. Then he was. So I'm like, wow. So I swear to God, and I'm not even gonna go down that road and say what some of the people from the '60s. It was awful.
Okay, I was born in 1964, so. So
the next event is Thomas Dorsey. He invented the gospel blues in 1932. I have no idea who this gentleman is. Who? It was in 1932. Thomas Dorsey.
What was his name? You
Thomas
don't know who Tommy Dorsey is? No. Tommy Dorsey, Tommy and Jimmy Dorsey, the Dorsey brothers.
No, but I'm gonna read through some of this. In 1932, he was a composer, and he had been a nightclub jazz pianist who wrote and inspired by his wife. He wrote the song "Take My Hand, Precious Lord." I know that song, but I didn't know he sang it. Let's see. So he changed the music industry in the gospel blues. So the jazz and the gospel and then the blues. So he kind of incorporated all of it. So let's see. He had a dramatic role that music played in sustaining and forwarding the American civil rights movement. Martin Luther King Jr. often asked supporters to sing it before they marched, including the night before his assassination. So, see, Mahalia Jackson. I mean, I know who she is, but I didn't. I had no clue, and that's a shame. But then again, it's a different generation.
Yeah, I love that music from that era. I'm looking forward to watching the Billie Holiday documentary.
I'm more of the 50s, the 40s, 50s, and early 60s. You know, that was I love that. Harry Hopkins, he started to work May 22nd, 1933. I have no idea what he did. About 2 months after he took office, Franklin Roosevelt appointed a former social worker to head of emergency program of aid to the unemployed. Wow. So he's the one who started unemployment back in 1933. So he drug a desk into the hall of the building where he was located and immediately began sending out money. Wow. So some people disapproved of his haste and wanted longer consideration for of the federal expenditure. People don't eat in the long run every day. In 2 hours, he spent $5 million. Which today,
he spent a lot of money.
See, I like how this is. So in today's amount, it would be $70 million today.
That's better than $1.9 trillion.
I know. What's the 9 words of Ronald Reagan? The most terrifying words. 9 most terrifying. I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
Right.
Another event, FDR accepts the 1936 Democratic National nomination. Let's see. The political equality we once had won. FDR boomed as he accepted the nomination for a second presidential term. He had been rendered meaningless in the face of economic inequality. The government no longer belonged to the people, and that's when they had been taken hostage by the privileged princes of these new economic dynasties. Thirsty for power, deep in the Great Depression, Roosevelt promised that his New Deal would recalibrate the balance of power. Wow, because that's when it really started.
Yep.
The swamp started back in the 30s.
Yes.
And
that's what we've been
it's
saying.
just getting worse and worse.
Yep.
Hugo Black was appointed to the Supreme Court in 1937. That was his first appointment to the Supreme Court, defined the American judicial scene for 3.5 decades. Wow. He set the table with new ideas and often presented in dissent at first. His last 2 decades on the court, Black would watch his reformist agenda become the supreme law of the land, moving from the dissenting opinions to majority opinions on the issues of voting rights, speech rights, religious rights, and criminal procedure rights, and the Bill of Rights more generally. And guess what? All of that just went down the crapper in the last 50 days.
Yep.
Let me rephrase that. From January 20th, all of that went down the crapper, except for speech rights, and that's been the last 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't agree with the left, they don't. You're invalid.
Yep.
Damn computer. Truman replaces Wallace in 1944. The Cold War seems inevitable, but a few things are. Rather, the road that diverged on July of 44, when Truman took the place of incumbent Vice President Harry Wallace on the Democratic ticket. After World War II, Roosevelt had a secret plan for how he would work things out with Stalin, but he died before he could do it. He was supposed to have been a good president, right?
Who?
Truman.
Roosevelt? Oh, Truman. Yes. Truman, yes.
Okay.
Truman was supposed to be a good...
NATO was formed, I did not know, it was signed in 1949. Let's see. The treaty meant that after intervening twice in the previous 32 years to restore peace in Europe, the U.S. was finally committed to an international alliance in the peacetime focused on preventing war in the first place. That act shaped our foreign policy, politics, military spending, military structure, doctrine, equipment, and military ethos for years to come. It had a remarkable and salutary effect on helping to bring a shattered Europe together as a group. And now it's a shambles. Oh, no, that's the UN. That's a joke. Let's see. Barbara Johns walks out. 1951. Why? What did she do? On April 23rd, 1951, 16-year-old Barbara Johns led a walkout by 400 black students to protest inadequate facilities at a segregated Robert Moton High School in Farmville, Virginia.
I remember reading about that. We learned about that in school.
We were taught the wars, main event. We didn't really see back when I was in high school. There was no racism. There really wasn't. You were friends with everybody or nobody, and we had the burnouts, the jocks, the nerds, and the preppies, and you had to belong. You belonged to one of those groups. And everybody had there was multiple cultures in every single group. There really was no. Our biggest peer problem was if you had money or not.
Right.
Drugs were not a problem. My friend asked me if I wanted to smoke pot one time. The peer pressure, that was it. One time.
Well,
okay.
we did have racism when I was a kid in certain areas, but not in school. It was not in school. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The kids, not like today. Today, it's in the school. Today, it is in the school.
Yeah, because racism is taught. It's not, you're not born racist. I don't care what that idiot woman said. 3-month-old children are not racist. They don't know colors, or not when I say color, I mean color of people's skin. They don't know gender. They just know, I'm a boy, you're a girl, or you're whatever, and that's all they know.
They don't even know that.
I don't like them. Yeah,
right.
And so racism is taught. And, and it's sad. Emmett Till is murdered, 1955.
Who's murdered?
Emmett Till.
I don't know who he is.
September of 1955, Moss Wright took the witness stand. It's M-O-S-E. Wright took the witness stand in the Mississippi courtroom. I wonder if that has something to do with the Mississippi burning. Rising from his chair, he pointed a finger at one of the two men who murdered his niece's son, Emmett Till. There he is, said Wright. In an extraordinary act of personal courage, Till's killers were not convicted in 1955. Wow. But Till, a teenager...
Okay, I remember. Right. I remember reading about that, right.
Apparently, Till flirted with a white woman.
Right.
Woo. But that was a big thing back in the 50s.
Right.
Wow. His mother insisted on an open casket at her son's funeral and said she wanted the world to see her son's mutilated body, battered beyond recognition, to show how much racism. And I, for one, I don't care how bad of a person you are. I don't care what race you are. Nobody deserves to be beat like that. Like all of these riots last year. If you're a criminal, sucks to be you. But if you get killed because you're an idiot, don't take that on the rest of the world and kill all the children that were killed in Chicago. Don't get me wrong. Nobody deserves to be mutilated, battered, beat to death. I mean, that's just,
no, I agree.
Yeah. Unless you're a pedophile, then that's it.
And you deserve whatever you get.
No. They deserve whatever they get.
Right.
Birth control was approved in 1960. I think all boomers and silent generation picked all this shit because there is one thing that's happened in this later on. So that was one of the most significant achievements of the 20th century. Yeah, well, apparently birth control didn't cut it from a lot of people. Yeah, birth control.
Look, women have been using some form of birth control since the dawn of time. Women have been able to prevent birth fairly well since a long time ago. Because they know their cycles. They know when they can or cannot get pregnant. They don't do that anymore. They, not to mention, there are a lot of natural methods, between putting vinegar on a sponge, and some other stuff, sheepskin, tied on a man's thing. I mean, they've been doing that for millennia. That birth control is nothing new. Pharmaceutical birth control may have,
Well, so pretty much everything that's happened, the embassy in Tehran is occupied in 1979. I mean, don't get me wrong. Wow. The pneumocystis pneumonia report was in 1981. Okay.
The what?
Let me see what. Pneumocystis pneumonia. In 1981, pneumocystis pneumonia it was one of the first epidemics. That was from the AIDS epidemic. So a lot of people who had AIDS died of pneumocystis pneumonia.
Right, Right.
And, the thing about, and I know a lot of people are all bent out of shape about Reagan and HIV. The thing is, there wasn't a whole lot of people who had HIV back then.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
So, and
back then, I remember. I remember. And you're talking about in the early 80s, right?
Way early 80s. See,
yes,
more gay men had it, but here's the thing.
Yep.
They did not test blood. So this is why a lot of people, like my youngest brother, when his appendix ruptured, he had to get blood. And when they did the blood testing, they did not test blood. So that's how it went from gay men to straight people because they would donate blood. It was never tested. And then that's how it got transmitted to everybody. And so they had to check my brother for HIV for a while because back then they just didn't test it. Now it's one of the common tests whenever you donate blood, and they'll tell you that you can't donate blood if you have anything. And then if you want to be stupid and donate blood anyway, they're not going to use your blood.
Nope.
I mean, they may not know, but they're going to test it, and then they'll call you back. Blah blah blah. In 1990, the Americans with Disabilities Act was signed. A real important event. But here's the thing. They may have that, but companies find ways around it. Oh, this person's not qualified. My daughter has seizures. She doesn't have epilepsy, but she's got seizures from a brain tumor or brain lesion. And she can't be in fluorescent lighting for more than 4 hours because it could cause a seizure. And she worked in, she was a telemarketer or something like that. And she had a seizure from looking at the computer screen because they didn't have that screen protector in front of it. And so they fired her. They fired her.
Wow.
And they said she was an insurance risk. They got around the American Disabilities Act by saying she was an insurance risk. So as much as that sounds like a good thing, they'll just say you're not qualified. We found a more qualified person for the job and put your name at the bottom of the file. And then after 30 days or 90 days or whatever it is, they just throw your application away. So, I mean, it sucks, but that's how they get around it. The 1994 midterm elections go to the Republicans with Newt Gingrich. I did not care for him. I don't know why. I thought, Bobby, or both of you, or is Lorna still on? Or did she
I'm here.
You? Okay.
I'm here.
What did you guys think of Newt Gingrich?
He had yes and no. There were some things that he was, okay about. Other things, not so much.
What do you think, Lorna?
I don't remember who he is.
Newt Gingrich, you don't remember?
He's been a Republican Speaker of the House for a long time.
Yeah, a long time.
I remember his name, but I don't pay attention to that stuff. I don't hardly watch TV.
Yeah, but you know who Nancy Pelosi is. You know who Pelosi is. You know why? Because she's a bottom feeder. That's why you know who she is.
Yep.
Bobby, what did you think of Newt? I love the name Newt.
He was decent. He was decent.
Do you think he was a rhino?
No.
I personally don't think so, but I know a lot of people that believed he was.
Well, it's like, do you guys remember from Pennsylvania, what was his name? Arlen Specter. I actually met him a few times when going up to advocate. I've been on the Hill more times than I can count to advocate for one thing or another. And, I mean, he did become a little corrupt, but with him, he was always about Pennsylvania, always about the people of Pennsylvania. He was Republican, and he did put some pork in bills. They all do, but he really did care about the people of Pennsylvania. So, so I have to give him credit for that. And you know, Pelosi. Here's the problem with Pelosi and people and the rhinos. It's that they don't give. It's not that they're putting pork or doing city stuff. It's that they don't even give a shit about the people in their own states. It used to be that politicians at least tried to do stuff for the people in their own states. Do you know what I mean? Now they're doing stuff for people in Iran, Iraq, Pakistan, China, Venezuela. They don't care about Americans anymore. Or the people. Now, Ted Cruz, Hawley, you know, look at AOC. You know, because she wanted to stand her ground and to get her little 2 cents in, Amazon walked away from, from all those, no matter what our opinion of Amazon, doesn't matter. That woman cost her city, her people, all those jobs. So that's So, and I know she's a Democrat, but you're getting my point. Newt Gingrich, so that's what I'm saying. I did not particularly think he was a rhino, in the sense that was he corrupt? I'm sure he was just as corrupt as every other politician, but at least he cared about the people of America, and in particular his state.
I mean, he was good, but I knew there were times where he was like, oh, my God, he was supposed to do this. He was kind of like Lindsey Graham and Mitch McConnell. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's like there are times when you knew he stood for what was right, and there were times where you're like, oh, my God, can I just slap him? So, like I said, out of all of that, some things that were never put in as something that changed America that I believe was the Challenger. It exploded in 1986. I was sophomore in high school, and I skipped school to watch it, and it exploded. I mean, me only being 16, 15, whatever. I mean, it was not at. It was a big impact at the time, but a lot of kids have no idea about the space shuttle. I mean, it's a shame. What do you guys? This is going to be, I won't say show and tell. What do you think are some things that was not put in those lists of monumentous events in American history?
I don't know. Maybe it depends on do you mean things that affected us? I think being able to do the full. Let's think about the suspension bridges, the advancement in technology and stuff that it took for them to be able to build those.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So when you think about the San Francisco Bridge, you know, or the Brooklyn bridges, Verrazano or whatever, when you think of those suspension bridges, I mean, the technology that had to go in to design them so that they did what they were supposed to do, and then to build them.
Oh, yeah. What's something that's monumentous, Bobby, that you think that was missed, that you would think would be something that should have been put on there? Free beer.
Did he go to sleep again?
He's multitasking.
Yeah,
Bobby?
I'm not sleeping.
Yes, you are.
Yeah,
I
right.
ain't sleeping.
What do you think should have been included? What do you think should have been included on that list? Of any of those three lists, they should have been put on there. I already have the Challenger. She said technology. Well, like the bridges, suspension bridges, and things like that.
How the Democrats stole the election.
True. No, true. That's a very how our election system.
I am not disagreeing. I am just.
Well, here's the thing. The reason why that's not on there is because this was from 2017. They haven't done these things. What about the assassination? They didn't even have the assassination of Martin Luther King on there.
Are you serious?
Right.
Yeah, they had JFK, but that did a big change in American history.
Yeah.
Lorna, what about
Malcolm
you?
X.
Yeah.
What was the question?
Oh, what do you think made an impact on American history? And it could be for good or bad. I mean, Obama was bad.
The Floyd
some of these.
thing.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I thought we were talking about historical. But yeah.
Well, that is historical. You know why? No, it is
just
historical.
Happened. No.
I know.
I thought you were talking about old stuff.
Oh no, anything that's changed the trajectory of American history. Now think about it, like Breonna Taylor and George Floyd were both criminals. Well, she wasn't necessarily a criminal. She was involved with a criminal, and he's the reason why she got killed.
She's
and they
body
blame the
armor.
cops. Yeah, no, that's bullshit.
And
George Floyd.
That Kyle kid.
The what?
That Kyle kid.
Oh, Kyle Rittenhouse.
Oh yeah, Kyle Rittenhouse.
Don't forget George Zimmerman with what's the hell's his name?
That guy down in Florida?
Yeah, and then there was another one that was
Hispanic guy that shot a black guy, and they said it was racist.
Who was the cop? There was another one where he actually was twice the size of that cop, and I cannot. Was it Brown? His last name Brown?
I think you're right. I recognize the
but
name.
Here's the problem.
Don't hands up,
criminals.
don't shoot. That's one.
But here's the problem. They were criminals. You don't reach for a cop's gun and not expect to not get shot. Or you don't pull a knife on a cop. The problem, George Floyd, he OD'd on fentanyl. They even have him on the body cam. Shows him taking the fentanyl. Okay. Did Eric Chauvin do the wrong thing? Huh?
Of course. I said they
He did the
actually
wrong
found
thing.
some pills. They actually found some pills in the back with his DNA on it.
Yeah, I mean,
he had taken some while he was in the back seat. It was really interesting because that's why, I don't know if you know this or not, but the first day of the trial, picking the juries and stuff, the judge canceled the day because he wanted third-degree murder added to the charges. Because the guy it was not second degree, and he didn't think that they could get manslaughter either. But if you read the descriptions of the three different charges, they can get Devin on third degree, and they don't, because they didn't want him walking away without jail time because they knew the riots would be even worse than they already are, because they're still going on. They're not letting people have an autonomous zone down there. That's the autonomous zone. Or what about Portland? Oh, my gosh, there's something in history.
Well, see, that's the thing. Black Lives Matter. Damn it. Black Lives Matter, freaking computer, I swear, was supposed to have been started to help black families, black people, and all this and the other. But all of the riots, they're not doing shit. I'm sorry, they're not doing anything. Look at it. During the riots in Portland and Illinois and all over the place, the 13 children that were killed, not one word in the media was said about those 13 children. Or the retired police chief who was killed, because they don't care. The black business owners in Portland, their stores demolished. But the BLM has not helped one of them, not one. So it's just, and I'm sorry, but a lot of black people feel this way. The only black lives that matter are criminals, not the innocent children or the police officers or just the average Joe. I mean, they just don't. It was the boy that was Michael Brown. He was 18. And that was in Ferguson, Missouri. And he was shoplifting, and his parents he had a pack of Skittles and a Coke. And from that, they've made episodes into Chicago PD, SVU. They've used that storyline in Chicago PD and also in SVU and they changed the name, of course, but yeah. Let me see. I'm trying to think of some other. These kids. Now, the Tamir Rice, he was 12 years old, right, in 2014. But guess what? He had an airsoft gun. Airsoft, and
I remember.
He was killed by a police officer.
Like real guns.
No,
they
look
don't. Like real guns.
No.
They're not pink or green or anything.
No. He took the fluorescent orange sight. He took the fluorescent orange sights off because everybody knows toy guns have the fluorescent orange sight. He took them off.
Right. And
he pointed it at the cops. But I guarantee you that, hold on, where a lot of this is, I don't kneel for any man. And a lot of black children are being taught that. I'm not going to get on my knees for any man. No, it's called do what you're told. It's for white children or Asian children or whatever. Do what you're told and you don't get in trouble. And I think that has a lot to do with you don't point a gun at a cop. I'm sorry. That shit just don't happen. Let's see. Oh, Freddie Gray. He was a 25. He was in the van. Remember I don't know if you guys remember him. His death was ruled a homicide because he was alive when he went in the van and died when he got out.
Right.
But yeah. But I'm trying to think of anything else that has been significant. Shit. Come on, guys. You guys think of some other things. That's been significant. And how about all of the natural disasters? These bad hurricanes. Nobody put.
Oh my gosh! Yes, they're unprecedented.
Katrina.
Snowstorm in Texas.
Yeah, Hurricane Katrina. What was the one that went up and went to the Carolinas?
Oh,
everybody had blue tarps for a roof. Bobby, you should know. You were there, right? In the Carolinas?
What?
This is why I know he's not paying attention. What was that bad hurricane that went? I know there's Katrina, and that was in New Orleans. What was the one that went up and over? It went from New Orleans and cut across and hit Carolina.
Shit. Yeah.
Hold on. Let's see. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Hold on. I'm gonna see if these are the early.
It's probably called Bobby.
I'm not gonna put all the old ones. Well, shit, it doesn't even have the name of the damn hurricane. Let's see. No, I want one with the name, damn it. Shit. I know there was the one particular hurricane, the Galveston hurricane was in 1900. That's before they named them. But I'm trying to think of, shit, see, none of these have names, damn it. This says the 10 worst. But Katrina, let's see. You know, and the one that was just recent too, that killed all of the chickens and the pigs that went up in the coast. Camilla was another one.
Oh yeah. It's awful.
The Chobe hurricane of 1928. Galveston. Well, you people suck because they won't tell me. Hold on. I'm going to do it. It's been within the last 15 years, right? Where's hurricanes? We'll do the last 20 years. Sandy.
I think as much as I'm not crazy about some of it, because I actually don't agree that it's better for the planet, I do acknowledge that the advances that Elon Musk has made with Tesla stuff, too bad they're not doing some of the stuff that really would be good for the planet, like nuclear power plants and such. But and the stuff that he's doing with outer space, I think those advancements are definitely good. But again, technology is only as good or bad, evil, as the people who are using it.
Hurricane Sally, that's the one that hit last September, and it's listed as one of the worst
in New York.
But the problem is that, Bobby, did it hit anywhere near you? It was only a Category 2.
No,
Michael,
that all of those are all on the coast. I'm like over almost 115 miles from the coast, inland.
Oh, okay. So you didn't.
So yeah. They all we get is a tailwind and a little bit of rain, and that's it.
Okay. Hurricane Matthew that's the one I was thinking of, and that was in 16. Let's see. Camille was a Category 1, but it still did an assload of damage. Ivan, I remember there was 4 hurricanes, one right after another, and the one that was Florence, isn't that what it was? She was bigger than the state of Florida. And she caused a lot of damage. And I found something new that I just happened to see, and I thought I'd bring it up because it is our history / whatever. Guess what? Spotted this. A supermassive black hole has been spotted wandering through space. They've been watching this black hole for 5 years. And you want to know how big it is? It is 3 million times the size of the sun. That's how big that bitch is.
Yeah, I heard about that.
There's 9 black holes, massive black holes in the galaxy, but that one is the only one that's moving. So, welcome to 2021. I'm just kidding. I am not saying that we're going to get a black hole, but
is it coming, is it
last
year towards us?
That's the problem. Yes, but it may take a while to get here, so we may be dead and gone before that bitch hits.
I wonder what's on the other side.
Who knows? But if it's 3 million times the size of the sun, that's a pretty big hole. So we could probably fit right through it and not have any, But
no, because remember the series of black holes. That's what I'm saying. I wonder what's on the other side, or what the gravitational force would do to us.
Okay, remember I told you the night that we did last week? There's 2 theories. Right. One, we just go right through it. As long as we go through the middle of it, we go to the other side of another universe. Or it pulls us apart and we become smaller than a microorganism. So
that's what I'm saying. We don't know.
It is 230 million light years away from Earth, but they can still see it with a telescope. So,
but how fast is it moving?
110,000 miles an hour.
And how many miles away did you say it was?
230 million. They have the Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico. They're the ones that found it, and they're watching it. They have no idea why this black hole is moving. So
maybe
what's happening?
A black hole.
No, but here's the thing: 2 supermassive black holes are merging, and
maybe it's being pulled by another one. So at 150,000 miles an hour, is that what you said?
110,000 miles an hour.
Okay, 110. Hang on a minute. Okay.
Good luck, because I'm so bad at that math.
So let's see. So let's just round up to 3,000 hours. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so 3,000 hours, right? Divided by 24. No, that can't be right. No, you're wrong, because that's only 125 days. So you're
no. This will be years. This will be years. But yes, guys, I figured
I have enough zeros on the first number. Not
Bobby,
200. You said 230
million.
Right.
230 million light years away.
So that's okay. Light years. You're saying it's only moving 150,000 miles, not light years.
130,000 miles per hour.
Per hour.
Oh, she's okay. Do you have that that audio, Bobby, that I sent you?
Yeah, I think so.
You want to play it? Okay, this is tonight. Oh, by the way, if anybody has any birthdays, anniversaries, or just want to say hey to somebody, say hey to you, give us a call or message us. We'll put it out there. And now we're in our little section of everyone needs a good laugh, and you just can't make this shit up. And so, oh my God, This one is an actual 911 call. You got it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it's letting me play it though.
Oh, I might have to do it the way I did the other one.
Yeah.
With my hold on. Okay.
Yeah, because
let me open it.
I hit play and nothing's going.
Mm.
Okay. Hold on. No. Oh, don't tell me it got taken down.
What was it?
No. It got taken down.
What was it?
Oh, here it is.
If it's old, it's not going to get taken down. I'm not hearing it.
Did you guys hear it?
No.
You didn't hear it?
No.
It keeps stopping. Hold on. You know what? How did I do it last time? Because I thought I just used my headphones.
I don't know.
Hold on. Let me see if I could. I'll do it this way. Hold on.
No problem.
I don't know why it's not working.
Hmm.
We're gonna have. And the woman calls. She calls 911 and said she's dying, and then she's dead. And then she said, "I think my heart's beating backwards." And
Her heart is beating backwards.
Yeah, she said it normally goes goop boop, and now it's going boop goop. Right? You gotta hear it because it's funnier. It's funnier when you hear it, okay? And then she goes, "Oh my God, I can smell sounds. I can hear colors." And they asked her if she ate any illegal substances. She goes, "Well, I ate a bunch of brownies that had she ate a bunch of edibles," is what she did.
Right.
I'm
she didn't know what it was she ate.
Yeah, but you guys can't hear that?
No.
Barely.
He said, "I forgot how to shit."
Yeah.
But
yeah, unfortunately, it's not loud enough.
Well, the other one worked. I don't know why you guys couldn't hear the other one. I mean, you can hear the other one.
I don't know.
Bobby, did I send you the one? Shit. I started laughing so hard that I started choking. I could not breathe. I thought I might not have sent it to you directly. Let's see. Let me see if I can find it. Might be the reason why. And this is why we need to be able to get them so we can play. Because some of them are not as funny. They're not as funny if you can't hear it. Where's it at? Oh, come on. I'm looking on. Okay, let me see if this one will work. You know what I'm going to do, Bobby? I'll just load them onto our national page. And I'll find a way to put them on our YouTube channel. Because, oh, my God, it's the one where there's another one where a woman was, I don't know what it was, and she said she thought she lost her hearing. She ate some edibles and was watching a movie, and she forgot she put it on mute and thought she went deaf because of the edibles. And the way she said it, I swear to God, I'm telling you, I was laughing so hard. And this is why you must watch out when you eat edibles and what you do. You know what? This is a personal experience of mine. When my stepson had passed away, we decided to have a drink to him.
In his honor?
And we did. Huh?
I said in his honor.
Yeah, in his honor, but needless to say, we were all two sheets to the wind. And so my brilliant brother and it's a complicated mess, but him and my ex-stepdaughter decided to say, here, try and smoke some pot. And it works better than all the medications they put you on. Well, there are people in this world who cannot drink and smoke marijuana at the same time. I am one of those people. No. I am one of those people who cannot. I'm sitting there, and my brother is an asshole. I took one big hit.
I can attest to that.
Now, listen,
I can attest to that.
I was drunk and high, okay? And I will never do this again. I'm directing an orchestra or a choir. My eyes are closed, and my brother's going through the music channel, changing every genre: rock, jazz, classical. He's going back, and my tempo would change. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with this damn music? It keeps changing. And they're all laughing at me. And so, but here's what happened in the long run. My body temperature went so high, I was burning up. And they took a cup of ice cold water to shock my body out of it. And this is what they had to do. And they threw this cup of ice water in my face. And I woke up, kind of. And I started walking. I said, oh, my God, I got to puke. I never made it. I started walking, and I stopped in front of the couch. And I fell on my ass, and I leaned forward. And when I did, I hit my wooden Singer sewing machine. And, I mean, when I hit. I'm surprised I did not crack my skull when I did that. And I just laid there. And I said, for those of you who think smoking pot is fun, you're an asshole. And I never did it again. Well, I didn't drink anymore and smoke. Because, that's not a good combination. So, but that's my stupidity. But I'll find a way to load those two videos because, oh, my God, they're just too hysterical for their own good. So, well, that's all I got for tonight. Tomorrow night's medical show, I want to cover male and female reproductive disorders, issues, and things like that. I know it's one of those subjects that people laugh at and they think it's funny, but there are issues that men and women have that they should be addressed. You know, so that's what I want to go over tomorrow.
You're going to cover what?
Male and female reproductive diseases, disorders, whatever. You know, ED, priapisms, you know, things like that for men, and then, you know, stuff like that. They are real issues. I know they're real issues. Yes, some of them are funny. Some of them are not so funny, but they still should be addressed like everything else. And we've never really touched on any of those
diseases or reproductive as in what?
It could be both, like cervical cancer, ovarian cancer, testicular cancer, things like that. I mean, and then other disorders. There's not much for men, but there's a lot for women because there just is. There's prostate cancer for men. You know, there's just a lot. There's ED, like I said. And apparently men are getting it younger and younger.
I'm not even...
So I figured, why not? What the hell? We got to be a mature audience. So for any listeners, if you have your kids that listen, well, I mean, if they're really young, they shouldn't be listening. But
true.
But there's nothing. It's just a human body. I mean, it's not going to be disgusting and, you know, like some people do.
Well, that puts me out for tomorrow night.
Huh?
That puts me out for tomorrow night.
90 seconds.
All right, we have 90 seconds.
Go for it.
All right, ladies. Thank you for joining. Another great show. Very informative. God bless you all. Have a great rest of your night. God bless America, our children, veterans, first responders, our troops, and God bless the Defenders 7.
And Kim's dog.
And she plays taps for my dog.